Last month, back in December 2023, I went to my library for the first time in I think about a year, and I felt inspired to go to my library a lot more in 2024. It was one of my main goals. So in this video, I'll be doing a year-long challenge where I go to my library every single month and check out a book and read it. That's it. Obviously, I can check more books out, and I already have been doing, but I really want to do a sort of challenge vlog project kind of thing. And that's what I'll be doing in this video. I wanted to come up with one prompt per month that I thought would be very easy to do, nothing too hard. And I want to give a huge thank you to all the people in my YouTube community post when I asked about this for some ideas for prompts. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate all of the suggestions. Yeah, I'm really excited about these challenges because it just makes me that much more excited to see what I end up picking up every single month. Sometimes I might just go in the library and kind of decide last minute. It's just filled with possibilities. So I'll tell you what all of the reading challenges are for each month. And I would totally urge you to do the same. Maybe next year or any year you want to do it, really. You know, just to make use of your local library a bit more. And that's something I've been slacking on recently. So yeah, I sometimes need a boot up the bum in order for me to do that. In January, the prompt is to read an anticipated book. And that's literally just any kind of book that I've been excited to read. It can be from any year. It could be from the 90s, the 80s, just like any book that I'm really excited to read. In February, I want to read a translated book. In March, a librarian recommendation. And I don't think I'm going to go up to a librarian and ask them because, you know, I get a little bit nervous asking people about recommendations in person. But my library does have like staff picks and things like that that's dotted around the library, or sometimes books have this card on them to let you know that it's a librarian recommendation. So I will most likely just go off that. April, a book with illustrations, and I've kind of broadened this so that it can be like a manga, a graphic novel, a middle grade. It could be an adult fantasy with an illustrated map inside, or it can just be a book with an illustrated cover if I find it too hard. Or even classics sometimes have illustrated editions. So really, that could be anything. In May, a book community recommendation. So that could be something you saw on BookTube, Bookstagram, BookTalk, BookBook, you know, if you see someone on Facebook. Our Facebook book community is called BookBook, you know, like BookTalk, BookTube, Bookstagram, BookBook, Facebook. That doesn't work because it's just Facebook. Just any kind of book you see in any book community. In June, I'm going to pick a novella, something nice and short. In July, a cover that catches your eye. So literally, I can just go in the library, have a little browse, see what stands out to me. In August, I want to try and get to a new to me author. And then in September, on the other side of that, an author that I've enjoyed in the past, but I haven't read that particular book yet. October, a seasonal read. And you know, if I'm not fancying something scary in October, I could then go to like Christmas. I could do like a holiday book, a wintry read or something. And even if I don't fancy that, maybe something like a romance to tie in with like, you know, Valentine's Day, which obviously isn't happening in October, but you know, like I'm using seasonal very loosely. It can be tied to a holiday, it can just be tied to a holiday theme. So like obviously Valentine's Day is love and romance and you know, like, just stuff like that. I wanted this to be really easy. November, a mood selection. Again, I could just go into the library, look around and just pick something up that I kind of fancy in that moment. And in December, a book that I meant to get to this year. So if there was a book that I have been wanting to read all year long, but I just haven't gotten a chance to, and it's a book that I don't own because again, that's what my library's for, then that is the book that I will read in December to end the year-long reading challenge with. So hopefully that sounds fun, and if you end up enjoying the video, please do give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below as well. Let me know what you would have picked for these prompts. It is currently January 2024 right now, so we're going to be way in the future by the time this video goes up, which honestly feels so strange to me, but I'm still really excited about this challenge, and I hope you come along with me for the ride. I now know the pain people go through as they're waiting for a book to come back into the library, because that's what I had to do with my January pick. I wanted to start filming this video earlier in the month, but I had to wait until the 23rd of January for this book to come back. I was checking the online catalogue, earliest copy due back 23rd of January. I was like, okay, today's 24th of January. I went in and I found it. It was there. This is my anticipated book that I want to read for January. And it's not really something I want to buy myself, at least not until after I've read it and I really enjoy it. Like if I do end up loving it, I might end up getting it for my own personal library. But I kind of did not want to take that chance because I really enjoyed The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson, but I hated 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. So, you know, that's quite risky. If I just buy The Kind Worth Saving and end up not liking it, what a waste, you know? So again, that's why I really want to do this library challenge and start getting books out that I'm kind of scared to buy myself. So this is a book I'm excited to read, but haven't got the balls to buy. Oh, you absolutely... I don't know if you could hear that, but... You know when you hear someone like really hacking up phlegm in the street, you dirty I don't know if you can read this one and not read The Kind Worth Killing. I do know there are a couple of characters from The Kind Worth Killing in this one, including a detective, Henry Kimball, I think? Henry Kimball. He used to be a teacher and he's hired by one of his ex-students because his student thinks that she is being cheated on and she wants proof of that. And I know we also have the return of someone called Lily, who we also met in the first book. And what happens after that, I have no idea. Like, it's supposed to be a thriller, but I don't really know what kind of vibe we're going for. I remember in The Kind Worth Killing, it was very strangers on a train. This one, I really know next to nothing about. I just hope that this is the kind worth reading. Oh my god, that's a great joke. Okay, I finished The Kind Worth Saving. You know what's so good as well is that this is the third library book that I finished so far this year. Like, seriously, this challenge is really helping me just to explore my library a little bit more and to just like see what's on offer there. It's great. It's so great. I will say though, this is the January prompt. It is currently February 11th. I've just finished it and it is due back in the library in 3 days time, so at least I finished it before it was due back. I will take it back tomorrow and I will get the February prompt book out. But I thought I would like literally be reading these books in the month that I was supposed to do the prompts for, and I think because I've had a little bit of a chaotic January and February, hopefully we go back on track. One thing I don't love about library books though is how reflective the cover is, so I'm so sorry if it's a bit annoying. But that's the only critical thing I'm really going to say about this, because I really enjoyed this. I gave this one 4 stars. I think that this was maybe not as good as the original one, The Kind Worth Killing, but I thought this was a really great sequel. I thought it had some really good twists that were so subtle, and I feel like the first book too, I mean, it's been a year and a half since I read the first book, but that one also had some subtle twists, and this will be spoiler free, so no spoilers here. That one had some subtle twists as well, and they always seem to revolve around a character. You think you know someone, and then something changes, and then you're like, oh, well damn. And yeah, it was just like really fun to read because of that. It wasn't like the most thrilling by any means. I will say though, it did have some good set pieces throughout. So we're following our main character, Henry Kimball. He is like a private detective, a private investigator, and he is hired by Joan to investigate the fact that her husband might be having an affair with someone. And that was all fine and well, but I feel like I was more interested in the chapters where we were following a different character who seems to be like orchestrating some like murders and things behind the scenes, and just getting a little bit of an insight into the way their mind works and the way that they were doing this was really interesting to me. I do feel like this is a book worth reading, considering I think this is my first thriller of the year, and I do love me a thriller. And this is now the second book that I've enjoyed of Peter Swanson's. I've read 3 so far. One of them was terrible. The other one was A Kind Worth Killing. Really enjoyed. This one I really enjoyed. So who knows, maybe I might try some more Peter Swanson books. I will most likely check those out at the library too. I checked the first book out at the library like a year and a half ago. That's how I read it the first time. So I will most likely go into an open mind with some more Peter Swanson books. But I'm like really glad that this library challenge, we started off with a really good book. If we had started off with like a 2-star or a 1-star, I probably would have been a little bit disappointed and it would have cursed the rest of the video, I'm sure. Although that's probably a jinx. I probably jinxed it, so watch the rest of the books will now be shit. But no, starting out strong means that I feel good about this challenge, and it just makes me that more excited to go into the next month's reading prompt and see how we fare with that one. Right, I've not long woke up. I look terrible, but I have just quickly joined my friend Steph's sprints. There's just under 37 minutes of the sprint, and I need to hurry my arse up, get to the library, return The Kind Worth Saving, get my February book, because I do know what I want to get for the February prompt, which is a translated book. So we're going to run to the library looking like this, and hopefully it's there. I haven't even checked, but I think it is. I think it is. I have a feeling in my heart that it's there. Okay, just before I left the house, I thought, you know what, I should better check the actual online catalogue to make sure it's there. It's not there. Somebody has it checked out until the 29th of February. Why didn't I, like, reserve it earlier? You know what I mean? Like, this is the most stressful thing, right? I love using my library, but the stressful thing is when people have the book and it's not due back for a while. So you're like, oh, what do I do? So there's actually another book that I think I could use for it. But I did want to use the first option for a Patreon book club that I'm signed up to. And now I can't because the 29th of February, that's the end of the month. So I'm going to go with option number 2. So let's hope it is actually there. I have checked the online catalogue. It does say it's there. We're going to go and get it. And now I have just about 30 minutes to go. Come on, let's do it.
For the first time in ages, I wake up and don't hate it. I guess I found some peace. Through the day to the evening, without shouting and screaming. Something new to me. Alone without being lonely. Getting back to the old me. It's kinda nice to feel free. I thought this was over. Thought I could control it. But if I speak the truth, I ain't over you. I was feeling sober until you came up now. I don't know what to do. I ain't over you. I ain't over.
Okay, I'm leaving empty-handed. They had nothing that I wanted, really, and the ones that they say they do have, I couldn't find. The coffee went cold, or before the coffee goes cold. They can't find it. Someone else has reserved it, but they can't find it. It isn't on the shelf, so they're currently looking for it. The one that I originally wanted was what you were looking for is in the library, which, was it though? So I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back a different day. Sorry, the lighting is terrible. I'll come back a different day, and yeah, I'll see if it has some translated books that I can get. But yeah, pretty much everything wasn't there that I wanted. So yeah, we're just going to try again when I don't have a clock counting down for me to be back. So it's currently February 29th, the last day of the month, and the day that what you were looking for was in the library was due back. Do I have it? No, I don't. And I reserved it, and I am number 1 on the wait list for it, and I was expecting to go pick it up today. But whoever has it, and for some reason my gut is telling me her name is Florence, she has decided not to bring it back on time. I hope they fine her ass into the ground. I hope she loses her house. Okay, I don't wish Florence that much ill will, but Florence, you've made an enemy of me. And honestly, I don't know why I think she's called Florence. I just think she is. I have no idea who actually has the book before me, but Florence is what they're going to be called from now on. Because if anything else happens during this 1-year library challenge and something gets in the way, it'll be her. She's going to be the one behind it. She is now my library arch nemesis. Oh, do let me know down below if you have a library arch nemesis. I didn't think I would ever get one, but she has kept that book and made it late on purpose. So I will be reading the February book in March. I'm that stubborn. I am a Taurus after all, and I do want to stick with what you were looking for is in the library as my February prompt, since I did make that prompt because I wanted to read that book specifically. So I want to stick to my guns, and hopefully, maybe tomorrow, which will be the 1st of March, it will be there. Hopefully Florence has realised that she was late and is bringing it back as we speak. And she is waiting outside the library right now, waiting until it opens again at 8 AM in the morning, ready to give it back, ready to do the right thing. But I will be keeping my eye on her. I will. Should not have made an enemy of me. I just did a vlog update for another vlog, talking about how much I've been really wanting this book come in because it's now March 4th. It is 5 days overdue. I just got a call from the library and the person who just had it, Florence, the bitch, has returned it. Oh, I'm going to go and pick it up right now because I can't wait. I cannot wait. Okay, update. I've just had a look at my reservations online because there's a few reservations that I've made. It's not the one that I wanted for my reading challenge. It's a different book. I'm still waiting for this one that somebody has and it's overdue. And I'm like, please, please, for the love of God. Okay, if you are someone watching this right now and you take books back late to the library, I've got no words for you. No words. This has been emotional turmoil. Guys, this is not a drill. This is not a drill. Finally, she brought it back. Oh my God. Florence, I didn't doubt you for a second. Always believed in you. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm gonna go and collect it right now. They just rang me to tell me that it's come in. And it said in transit yesterday, so I was like, oh, what does that mean? Does that mean that they've ordered a new copy and they're bringing it back? Because Florence wouldn't put it past her if she kept it. But actually, I asked my friend Steph from Stephanie Bookish what in transit means because she's a librarian. Even though she's a librarian in America, I thought these libraries, they're universal, aren't they? So she actually did tell me that it means the person brought it back in a different library and it's getting delivered from that library to my library. So thank you for giving me that hope, Steph, because today I got that call and I was over the moon. So yeah, I'm gonna go pick it up because I won't believe it until I see it. So I've accidentally left the house with my slippers on. I need to go back in. I need to go back to my house and change my shoes. I was that excited. I cannot believe I did that. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It's actually in my hands now, and I can actually start my February challenge on March 12th. I really needed this one as well because apparently this is a book about the magic of libraries. So, like, how can I do a 1 year library challenge and not read a book that is like a love letter to libraries? And I don't think I've told you what this book is about because all I've been told about non-stop is trying to get my hands on this book. But this one is set in Tokyo and there is a librarian who just knows, like she has this instinct of the people who come in when they need a recommendation and what book to recommend them. The book club I wanted to read this for has been over for 3 weeks, but that's fine. Because as I always say, a queen is never late, everyone else is simply early. Now let's get to finally reading the February book. Okay, so I finished What You Were Looking For Was in the Library last night, which was the 17th of March. So I managed to finish my February challenge. Yay! I was hoping this would be a 5-star after all the trouble that I went through for it. But I will say that this was more a 3.5 out of 5. This is a really good story, don't get me wrong. And I don't think my high expectations dampened anything. I do think this is genuinely a well-told story. The writing style is very direct and it isn't flowery whatsoever or descriptive. So it really is just like telling you the story. And I love the format of it. I love the fact that it's 5 different people, all of them in different stages of their lives. So you really do get an eclectic cast of characters in this. And it was really interesting following each one and how they end up coming to the library. And the recommendations that the librarian gives is a little bit like out there. Like it's not what they asked for exactly, but it's something that the librarian recommends that like changes their outlook on life and arguably makes them better people for it. So I did really enjoy pretty much all 5 of the stories. It's like 5 long chapters of around about 40 to 50 pages. And there are some connections between them too. It's a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle at the same time. So I do love the idea of this librarian. I will say I wasn't the biggest fan of how every single one of the characters was taken back by the size of the librarian. So she is a bigger woman and every single person in the stories are just like shocked by how she looks kind of thing. Like they're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't go and talk to her kind of thing. You know what I mean? So that did lessen my enjoyment of this. And I'm hoping that's kind of a sort of lesson to the characters for like not judging people straight away. Because if it wasn't for this librarian, their lives wouldn't have changed, you know what I mean? And I do love the fact that the theme of having a book that changes your outlook on life, your perspective on life, how all it takes really is that one recommendation. It makes me remember when I used to work in a bookstore and I worked at a bookstore for 4 years and being able to recommend books to customers who came in, not sure what they were after, and sometimes having them come back and tell me, oh my god, that was like an amazing book, thank you so much, loved it, or like it's one of my favorite books of all time now. Stuff like that really made me feel so happy and excited. So I love the fact that this was something that was explored pretty well in this book. And also, yeah, it is a sort of love letter to libraries. So I do think it's still worth a read, even though I didn't really like how every single character judged the librarian because of her size to begin with. And the translation, I think, was a little bit clunky at times. There were some like sentence problems a few times that I think is probably down to the translation. But I mean, Alison Watts is the translator, and I think they did a fantastic job overall. But there were a couple of times where I was kind of like taking a little bit out of the story because of that. But all in all, I think a great book, and I'm so glad I actually read this one. And even though it wasn't like a new favourite or anything, and Florence really did make me work for this, I'm still super glad to have read it. And right before my March challenge, because my March challenge is to read a librarian recommendation. So I think that's perfect, considering we had a book about librarian recommendations changing people's lives. So I want to go to my library now for March. I mean, on March 18th. Every single month I'm late. Will I actually get a month where I read the book at the start of the month? Probably not. So I'll go to my library, I'll see if there's a librarian who isn't doing anything and she looks like she wants to give a recommendation, maybe. I might ask, but I'm a little bit shy. And I know what you're thinking, Gavin, you shy? Yes. Yes, I am. So I'll most likely have a look at the shelves and there are kind of like librarian recommendation tags. So I'll have a little look at them. Honestly, I love the feeling of going to the library with not a clear idea of what you want or what you are going to come out with. Like the mystery is just like so exciting. I mean, maybe not for you, but it is for me. Like I'm going to go into the library today and come out with something I had no idea I was going to come out with. I love that idea so much. Oh, this looks good. Absolutely not. Maybe in the summer. I have wanted to read this author. CJ. Maybe. It's a maybe on these two so far. I like the name of that, but I don't like that cover. Absolutely not. I just read Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Didn't like it. The Lodger. Historical. Oh, Gothic Brilliance. Okay. Oh, this looks good. But it's a little bit too big. Don't know if I can be bothered with something that big. That's what she said. Oh, has good bones. I like taking Fisher. Heard good things about this. Just shut up and my knees didn't agree with me. Ooh, Fair Roselyn. Ooh. Romeo and Juliet, Roselyn. I've seen a movie of Roselyn. Is that like the same? Maybe not. This is the only fantasy stuff pick. Oh wait, no, hang on. Oh, this as well. I have that though. Don't think they're very big fantasy readers. Does seem to be more literary fiction that they recommend. But which one? Which one should I pick? Okay, Abby wanted to read this. I think this is the one I'll go for. I'm happy with my choice. 8th of April, we've got this. Boop, boop, boop. I really wish I had been a little bit more immersive while in the library, but I mean, one, you do have to be a little bit quiet. In two, it was a little bit loud anyway. There were quite a few people in there, which is great. Means a lot of people are using my local library. But I did end up picking Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I was very torn between a lot of the choices that I ended up picking. I also realised that a lot of the staff picks are mostly literary fiction. There was like 2 in the fantasy and sci-fi section, and there weren't any in the thriller or horror sections. I have seen a few of my friends give this like 4 or 5 stars on BookTube, so that's kind of why I ended up gravitating towards this one over the other ones. And I think this is about a second chance romance. The 2 main characters did used to be married, and they have a couple of kids together, and I think it's them maybe falling in love again. I've never read a story like that before, and that's kind of what I love about this library challenge, is that I can really go outside of my comfort zone and read books that I haven't like typically read before, in the hopes that I end up loving them. But I'm so excited. I ended up staying in the cafe for a little bit, and I read the first couple of chapters. So far so good, nothing to report just yet, so I'll check back in once I finish this. hopefully very, very soon so that I can be on time for my April challenge, and this 1 year library challenge will be back on track. Well, it's nearly the end of April, and I only just finished my March read. I'm telling you, Florence, that bitch, she derailed this video, okay? I'm blaming her. I've had a very busy few weeks, okay? It is currently April 22nd. I finished this morning and I'm ready to take it back to the library so I can move on to my April prompt with only 1 week of April left. And I'm gonna give this one 5 stars. I loved it so much. This one follows Yasmin and Josiah. They have been married, but they are now divorced. They raise children together. They have a business together, but they think that their romance is kind of like behind them. However, there is still feelings there, and this is kind of a second chance romance, which I wasn't sure I was going to love. I love the idea of, you know, meeting the right person but just at the wrong time, or just like kind of giving them your everything, but even that again was at the wrong time. And being patient and giving people a second chance is something that I really do love. I've never read a second chance romance before, I don't think, but honestly the pining, the tension, the steam of this was off the charts. So I could really feel the believability of these characters. I could really feel like they were living, breathing people, and I was really rooting for them. There was just pure, honest feeling, and it's so raw and heartfelt that it was like really hard not to like root for these characters, even when things seemed like they weren't gonna go our way. There was just so much readability to this one. I really want to read the sequel to it. I didn't even realize this was a series. Like, it would have a second book when I picked it up. I just thought it was a standalone. I don't know why I thought that. It just like doesn't look like it would have another book, but apparently there is going to be another one. I don't often cry at books, like it's very, very rare. I didn't quite cry during this, but I was very close. I really did feel all of that emotion. I'm not as heartless as I appear. And I've never been in a relationship. I don't understand some of the things that they went through. I can't really like relate to some of the things they went through, but I can relate on a human level. I can relate to the themes of depression and grief. Also the feeling of loss of something that is still existing, but it's like a loss to you. There are certain things that I can read into and see myself in the story. And I do think Yasmin is like such a fantastic protagonist. I think she is so strong, so amazing. She does her best. She goes through so much. Even with Josiah, like I felt proud of them for their journeys, like for each of their individual journeys. They both had a long way to go to get to the end of their character arcs. And even then, if there's going to be another book, then I guess we're not really at the end of that. But like they have to go through so much in order to progress their own characters. And that's what I love about romance books. Sometimes, like when I'm reading a romance, I have such a love-hate relationship with them because a lot of the ones I've read, it's just a lot of fluff and I don't feel like the characters actually go on any kind of journey and it doesn't feel real and believable. But I feel like with Before I Let Go, this is the kind of romance that I do like. I much prefer a character-driven story where the characters actually go on a journey and it doesn't just feel like, you know, like insta-love or insta-lust, and, you know, there's just like a lot of fluff to do with like their really artificial relationship. Like this relationship feels real. It feels heartfelt. I've just got so much praise for this book. And I love the fact that both characters aren't perfect. I love the fact that they both make mistakes. They both try to work hard at correcting mistakes and being better people. The key word here is real. They just felt real. So this was a really good staff pick, which I do need to take this back and hopefully they don't reprimand me for taking the staff pick thing. I did renew my hold on this, by the way, and it let me renew it, so there's no one waiting for this at the minute. I'm not pulling a Florence by keeping hold of this one long before the due date. But before I let go of this book, I need to figure out what I want to read for April, and April's prompt is a book with illustrations. I was going to pick a middle grade for it, however, because I'm so behind and I just want to get back on track with this vlog, I knew this would be all over the place before I even started. I feel like I might go for a manga or a graphic novel for this challenge, just something that's going to be a lot more easier for me to read, just so I can get back on track.
They said she won't work the way that I want. It don't matter cause I want you the most. And if I can't be close to you, no matter what I try to do, another 100 times I make it right next to you. My memories follow me until I get it right. Whoa, nah, 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 oh baby, oh yeah.
smell of you, I know it's right in the air. I'm still chasing you cause I know this is not enough. If you can be next to me, we'll feel like we're just meant to be. I need you for life. If I don't make it tonight, then luckily there's always tomorrow in my formula. 오늘은 공유 찾을게. Formula. 너만이 그게 가능해. Formula. Oh, it's only for you. If you don't fit in there, I guess nobody will. Yeah. This evening time, I think we're getting there midway. I'm all in it right now, me up, so don't matter many times, yeah. It's orange outside, and I feel it right now, yeah. But you've been looking so lost, oh yeah, 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 yeah. I was just pulling out that alchemy, and just like that, be a finale. But I miss one thing, and you know it's gotta be you, I'm taking down Bali. And I'ma go keep looking for you till dawn, cause I guess my plan or whatever is all about you, my baby. It's not enough if you can be next to me, we'll feel like we're just meant to be. I need you for life. If I don't make it tonight, then luckily there's always tomorrow in my formula. 오늘은 공을 찾을게. Formula. 너만이 그게 가능해.
It is 1 week later, it is April 28th today, and I have actually finished a prompt the month I was supposed to finish that prompt. And obviously it would be for the easiest book that I've read so far in this vlog, but that's not the point. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce this one. It is Kakuriyo, Bed and Breakfast for Spirits by Waco, Ioka, and I really liked it. I thought it was very good. I need to stop reading volume 1s of manga because I end up really enjoying it and wanting to get the entire series, and the amount of volume 1s that I've read since last year has been way too many, and there are way too many series that I want to continue because I do want to continue this. I'm gonna give this one 4 stars. I thought it was a very solid start. It wasn't one of my favorite volume 1s of manga, but I feel like if you like Spirited Away meets something like Food Wars or any kind of like cooking story, I think this one would be perfect for you. This does follow a girl. I'm gonna put her name on the screen because I'm struggling so hard to say it. I've watched some like YouTube videos of people saying it, and I struggle so much to say the name, and it's like the tiniest of names too. But she is whisked away to this like spirit world where her grandfather racked up this huge debt, and she kind of has to pay it off now. She either has to marry this ogre guy or find work in this spirit world, like at this inn, to pay off her grandfather's debt. And she's chosen to find a job so that she can pay off her grandfather's debt. But the thing is, no one wants to hire her because she is a human. And not even just that, but her grandfather is both reviled and loved in this world. So she's like learning about her grandfather, what he did in the past, as well as navigating this brand new world and trying to find her place there. So it did have elements of like Food Wars by the end of this volume, and I loved the first volume of Food Wars, but also I did get those Spirited Away vibes with, you know, this girl being taken away from the human world to a spirit world. The gorgeous illustrations of this really highlight some of the beauty of the spirit world, like the houses, like the inn itself. There is also another character, I haven't learned characters' names just yet, but there is a character who is like a Ninetales kind of character. They can change their form just like that. So they can be like a young boy woman, like a normal adult male the next, or they can be an adult female. They can do anything, and I really like that character. I also really like the main character. I'm really rooting for her actually. I felt quite bad for her by the end of the first volume, especially the way that some people treat her because of, you know, the reputation her grandfather had, but also because she's a human and she doesn't really belong in this place. There were just so many things at play for this main character that this could go on like a really good journey for her, as well as keeping some of those like really cozy vibes, which at the minute I'm not really feeling like cozy exactly, but I do love anything to do with like cooking in manga, just because that itself makes me feel all warm inside. So that element of it is making me feel like really like cool and calm, while also having this fantastical element with the plot. And I believe this is a shoujo. Yeah, this is a shoujo manga, and it's probably one of my favorite shoujos that I've read so far. The only other shoujo that I remember reading is Yona of the Dawn, and I really like Yona of the Dawn, but this one is really scratching some kind of like Studio Ghibli itch for me. Damn it, like if I see this out and about in a store, I'm probably going to end up buying it. And I don't want to, I need to save money. And I don't think my library has any other volumes in this series. I didn't say it when I was there the last time, but maybe somebody had checked them out at that time and maybe they've been brought back. Maybe Florence had them. So I will definitely check my library first, see if they have more volumes, and I will read more. Like, this was so good. But not a favourite, so that's why it's not 5 stars. But 4 stars is still pretty fantastic. I've decided that I'm going to split this library challenge into 3 episodes. This episode will come out at the start of May, and then the second episode, which will cover the next 4 months of this challenge, will most likely come out at the start of September, and then the final episode in this challenge will most likely come out in December or January, and that will cover the final 4 months of 2024. I was just going to keep this as one big video, but I think having it as 3 episodes instead helps to lighten my workload a little bit, and hopefully keeps me excited for this challenge. And also the fear of losing any footage from earlier in the year is seriously stressing me out. But I do hope you will be invested in my 1 year long library challenge. Please do subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss the next episode, as well as like this video too if you enjoyed it. I have a feeling I know what I want to pick for my May challenge, but I'm not going to tell you until the next episode. So thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave this video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave all your comments down below, let me know what you thought of the video, let me know if you're partaking in any library challenges, do you love your local library, tell me everything in the comments. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons and my One Piece channel members for supporting my channel. If you'd like to join my Patreon or my One Piece channel membership, then all the links are down in the description box. But yeah, I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye!